How does a boy, brutally bullied, with this kind of unconventional mind,
Mhm.
how does he end up commanding an empire? We're talking electric cars, rockets heading for Mars, global internet. It's quite a story, isn't it?
It really is. Almost sounds like fiction.
Totally. So today, we're doing a deep dive into the life of Elon Musk. Our mission, really, is to unpack that journey. The resilience, the huge vision, the sheer determination that took him from a, frankly, difficult childhood in South Africa right to the forefront of tech.
Yeah, well, look at those key moments, the drive, but also I think it's important, the complexities, his leadership, his impact. Yeah. It's not all straightforward.
No, definitely not. And that journey really starts with those formative, even traumatic early years, doesn't it?
Absolutely. His youth in South Africa. It wasn't just tough, it was fundamental to who he became.
Right. Born June 28, 1971.
Yeah.
His dad was an engineer, his mom a model. But yeah, childhood sounds incredibly rough. The bullying.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
More than just schoolyard stuff. Pushed down concrete stairs.
Yeah, hospitalized for 2 weeks. Decades of surgeries on his face and nose after that.
Yeah.
And there's that awful story about bullies using his best friend to lure him out. Just deeply painful.
And home life wasn't exactly a safe haven either, apparently.
No. It seems like those experiences, school and home, were a huge part of why he eventually left South Africa.
It's interesting, too, connecting that difficult environment with his later self-identified traits on the autism spectrum. You can sort of see how it might fuel both that intense focus he has and maybe also that, well, confrontational style we sometimes see.
But amidst all that darkness, there was this spark,
Yeah,
right? Age 11, gets his first computer.
and just dives in, teaches himself programming, reads constantly.
Like 10 hours a day. The entire Encyclopedia Britannica, apparently.
Which, isn't just trivia. That intense learning paid off fast. By 12, his coding.
Sells his first video game, Blastar. Some space shooter thing.
Yeah, destroying alien ships with hydrogen bombs, no less. Sold it for $500 to a magazine, then sold 2 more games the next year.
So you see that practical application already. He's not just learning, he's doing.
Exactly. It's a clear line to his later ventures.
And around that same time, 12 or 13, he has this, what he calls an existential crisis.
Yeah, searching for meaning. And he finds it, bizarrely perhaps, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But specifically in the idea of expanding human consciousness, ensuring humanity's future.
That becomes his mission, to save humanity. It sounds grand, but it seems genuine for him.
It really does seem to be the driving force, that North Star, for everything that follows. So at 17, he acts on that need to leave, heads to Canada.
Attends Queen's University there, then transfers to the University of Pennsylvania in the U.S. Gets degrees in economics and physics.
Even back then, he was already talking about wanting to be involved in things that would, fundamentally change the world.
And he didn't wait around. Started a PhD at Stanford in '95.
And dropped out after 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Because he saw the internet wave coming and just knew he had to jump on it. That's bold.
It really tells you something about his conviction, his timing. He spots these massive shifts and just goes all in. And that pivot led straight to Zip2.
Right, in 1995. He and his brother, Kimball, they start Zip2 with, what, $28,000 from their dad?
Yeah, pretty modest beginnings. It was basically an online city guide for newspapers. Think early Google Maps meets Yellow Pages.
And it wasn't easy. Tough times, sleeping in the office, the whole startup cliche.
But they pushed through. Zip2 eventually sells to Compaq for around $300 million.
Makes Elon $22 million. He's 26.
A huge win. But more than the money, it proved he could build something, scale it.
And he didn't just, buy a yacht. He took $12 million of that.
Poured it straight into the next thing, X.com, late 90s, online banking.
Which then merged with Confinity in 2000.
To become PayPal. And Musk was initially the CEO.
Initially being the key word there. This is where we first really see that challenging leadership style emerge, right?
Yeah, he actually got ousted as CEO while on his honeymoon, no less. Seems there were conflicts, disagreements about his, let's say, aggressive management.
Ouch. But PayPal itself obviously thrived. Sold to eBay in 2002 for $1.5 billion.
And Musk walked away with $180 million from that. Crucially, though, he saw that money purely as fuel.
Fuel for the big dreams. Cars and space.
Exactly. He even mentioned, despite having all that money on paper, he still had to borrow rent money sometimes because he was plowing everything back into these future ideas. That really shows his focus.
So that windfall directly funds the 2 companies that really define him now, SpaceX and Tesla. Let's start with SpaceX, 2002.
Founded because he genuinely believed space rockets were way overpriced. And more fundamentally, he had this vision that humanity needs to be a spacefaring civilization.
His personal goal, to die on Mars. Preferably not on impact, he's joked.
Huh, right. But achieving that vision, incredibly difficult. SpaceX faced failure after failure early on. The first 3 Falcon 1 launches all failed.
And then the 2008 financial crisis hits.
Brutal timing. Both SpaceX and Tesla were right on the edge of bankruptcy. He had to put everything in, his personal finances, borrowed from friends. He basically swore SpaceX would reach orbit.
And against the odds.
Yeah.
It did. The 4th Falcon 1 launch worked.
A massive turning point. It secured that vital $1.6 billion contract with NASA. And you're right, it wasn't luck. It was about rethinking everything, manufacturing in-house, questioning old aerospace rules.
Pushing for innovation like reusable rockets, that was huge. Aiming to make spaceflight, what, 100 times cheaper?
Exactly. All driving towards that Mars goal.
Okay, so while he's trying to get rockets off the ground, he's also trying to get electric cars on the road with Tesla.
Right. He invested early, met the founders Mark Tarpenning and Martin Eberhard, brought in J.B. Straubel. But making electric cars, especially back then,
Devilishly complicated, as he put it. Huge production headaches, massive skepticism everywhere.
oh yeah, people thought EVs were golf carts, basically, not serious vehicles.
And Tesla also nearly collapsed around 2008, same time as SpaceX.
It was incredibly close. Musk had to step in as CEO, secure emergency funding, somehow pulled it back from the brink.
Then it goes public, $17 a share. And now, well, it's a global behemoth, worth billions.
And again, driven by these bold, sometimes controversial tech leaps, like the vision-only autopilot, ditching radar when many inside Tesla resisted.
Or the Gigafactory in Nevada, a $5 billion bet on scaling up battery production way before anyone else thought it was necessary.
That kind of aggressive, future-focused strategy is pure Musk.
So SpaceX and Tesla are the giants, but his empire didn't stop there, did it?
Not at all. It kept expanding. There's Solar City, started with his cousins, focused on solar energy.
Which eventually got acquired by Tesla, right? To create this unified energy vision.
Exactly. Then you have Neuralink, brain-computer interfaces, super futuristic stuff.
Still feels like science fiction, but they're actually testing it.
Yep. And the Boring Company. Tunnels to beat traffic.
Which also gave us the, not a flamethrower.
Haha, right. A bit of his whimsical, or maybe just provocative side there.
But then there's Starlink. That feels really significant.
Hugely significant. A massive constellation of satellites for global internet. It really hit the world stage during the conflict in Ukraine.
Providing crucial internet access when other systems were down.
Yes, a major geopolitical moment for a private company. But then also, controversy later, when he reportedly restricted its use for offensive military operations, it highlights these really complex ethical questions.
And his involvement in AI. That's been a long thread, too.
Yeah, co-founding OpenAI with Sam Altman, the stated goal was ensuring AI benefits humanity, acting as a counterweight to big tech control.
But then
And a split.
he wanted OpenAI more integrated with Tesla, apparently.
Seems that way. Didn't work out, so he later launches his own AI venture, xAI.
Yep.
It shows that tension again. Big vision for humanity, but also wanting direct control.
And we can't forget Optimus, the humanoid robot project.
Right, aiming for human-like capabilities.
Yeah.
Robots in factories, robots on Mars eventually.
Plus the Hyperloop concept, the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
It's just constant, relentless pushing of technological boundaries.
Yeah. Definitely. The Cybertruck's unveiling, that unconventional design, it really sums up his approach. Bold, maybe risky, but always pushing.
So when you step back and look at all this, what's the core? What drives this tenacity? His philosophy?
Well, the work ethic is just legendary, isn't it? 80, 100-hour weeks are reportedly normal for him.
He famously said something like, if others work 40 hours and you work 100, you achieve in 4 months what takes them a year.
And that intense dedication fuels this incredible risk-taking mindset.
Yeah.
He keeps putting his winnings back on the table, chasing goals that seem impossible.
Even when, as he admits, the probable outcome is failure.
Right. He reframes setbacks. They're not failures, they're learning opportunities. That famous SpaceX quote, if we're not blowing up engines, we're not trying hard enough. It fosters this culture of pushing limits.
His core belief seems to be, if something is important enough, you should try, even if you'll probably fail.
Yeah. And that other quote, the only rules are the ones dictated by the laws of physics. Everything else is a recommendation. He genuinely seems to believe that making mass-market EVs was inevitable, but becoming multiplanetary. That's not inevitable. Someone has to force it.
And he sees himself as that force.
Pretty clearly, yes. But that intense drive, that leadership style, it has a shadow side.
Definitely. The hands-on approach, questioning everything, the aggressive deadlines, it creates incredibly high-pressure environments.
Mm.
People describe working for him as intensely stressful,
He's often described as abrupt, blunt, someone who puts, quote, basically no effort into making you like him.
which leads to this kind of paradox, doesn't it? This recurring observation.
That he cares so much about humanity, but maybe doesn't really care about humans on an individual level.
Exactly. Some accounts describe his behavior crossing lines, malicious, mean-hearted, aggressive bullying. Though again, some view this through the lens of his autism spectrum traits. It's complex.
And maybe the most public recent example of all this complexity rolled into one is the Twitter acquisition, now X.
Right. Buys it for $44 billion in 2022. His stated reason, free speech.
He felt the platform was having a corrosive effect on civilization, saw a liberal bias, even claimed it was acting like an arm of the government.
But then, the actions that followed seemed, to many, to contradict that.
Well, yeah, accusations flew about him artificially boosting his own tweets, reinstating controversial figures who'd been banned.
While also banning accounts that criticized him. And data showed X was complying more with government censorship requests in places like Turkey and India than Twitter had before he took over.
Which led to widespread accusations of hypocrisy, that he wasn't really defending free speech, but maybe using the platform to, as some put it, bully the people he doesn't like.
It's a different kind of venture for him, isn't it? Social media versus building physical things.
Absolutely. With rockets, they either reach orbit or they explode. With cars, they drive well or they have problems. There's a clear physical feedback loop, social media. Success is much harder to measure objectively.
Does that lack of clear feedback maybe feed into what some see as an addiction to crisis and controversy?
It's a theory some observers have put forward, that it creates this challenging picture. You have this undeniable genius, this innovator pushing humanity forward in huge ways.
But also this polarizing figure whose actions, especially recently, can seem chaotic or contradictory, maybe even undermining his own grand visions.
It's a fascinating duality.
So looking back at the whole journey, it really is an incredible testament to, well, sheer willpower.
Yeah.
Unwavering vision, relentless execution, even when facing just massive setbacks, personal and professional.
His life really does show that major innovation often means you have to challenge the status quo, you have to embrace enormous risk, push through barriers everyone else thinks are impossible.
The impact is just undeniable, isn't it? Online payments, electric cars, private spaceflight. He's fundamentally reshaped industries. And that ultimate goal, making humanity multiplanetary, that still seems to be the fire driving him.
It defines his legacy, however complex that legacy might be.
So maybe the final thought for you, listening to all this, Musk's story, with all its highs and lows, its controversies, it really makes you ask, doesn't it? What's your world-changing idea?
No.
What are you willing to pursue, even if failure seems likely? And what obstacles, internal or external, would you need to overcome to make it happen?
It's a powerful question to ponder. What risk are you willing to take for something you believe in?